Ahoy there, welcome to this week's video. If you're new here, I set off from Portland in Dorset, heading all the way around the UK, well, cutting the top off, circumcising it, and last week I ended up in Grimsby, of all places, due to engine problems. So yeah, you join me in Grimsby now. First bit of the video, I'll be showing you what I did to fix the boat. Yeah, I ended up doing like a 6 or 7 hour trip into Hull to get a couple of new impellers and stuff like that, but it was a whole ordeal. But yeah, we go from Grimsby to Lowestoft this week, and I make a stupid mistake anchoring and nearly lose both my hands, so that was exciting. Right, let's get into it. Alright, following day. Hi there. I spent all day trying to find an impeller. That's 2 impellers I managed to find in the chandlery, which was in Hull. It was basically 6 hours on a bus round trip. So now it's practically night time. I'm going to get into the engine bay, see if we can fix the boat. So, what is the problem? Well, the seacock back there, which is part of the saildrive leg, is seized. There's no reason for it to be seized because it was working mere days ago. And then obviously the impeller was red hot when it was in use, so I don't think that's getting enough water, or there's some restriction to flow. The broken bits of the impeller I think are in the crap down here. I'll find them. If not, I'm going to trace where they could possibly go to, because if they go up and into here, then they're basically inside the engine block, and there's not much I can do about that. So yeah, we'll see. There's also a bit of oil knocking around, so I'll check on that. But we'll have a good look and see what happens. Right, on with it. Right, so the seacock, which I'll try and put a picture up of now, is a square lug onto which this plate goes and tells you which way to turn it. And it wouldn't turn. However, I've just done it now and it turned freely and easily. So I think it's a gate valve, which means that maybe something is being sucked up into the gate valve and stopping it from being closed, or the heat of the engine is causing something to expand and for it to not go, because it works freely now, which is annoying. But I've closed it off. I'm going to take the impeller out, the new impeller that I put in on the way here, do that, and then have a route around and see if I can find any impeller bits anywhere that could be causing an issue. But there's no heat exchanger. I can't think where they'd be. They'd just go into the galleries and out through the exhaust, I think, provided all the channels are wide enough. I'm getting good water out the exhaust, so I don't know. We'll see. I'll have a poke around. Well, here is something interesting. Look at the lobes. That lobe's backwards. The impeller turns this way, which you can see by the angle of these running that way. That lobe is backwards. It should be back this way. I don't know how that could happen. Let's pull it out and have a look, shall we? I wonder. That would lead to early death of the pump, the impeller. Sorry, but we'll see. So I was going to do like a full video about, oh, I'm stripping this down and I've taken this down and blah blah blah, but I don't actually talk like that. But you know what? Took the impeller out. I've checked the pipes. It's a small pipe going into a big pipe, going into a pipe bigger than the smaller pipe, which goes into the engine and all the galleries, and comes out and in through the exhaust. There's no signs of anything anywhere, so if the pieces of impeller have gone through, I have to assume that they've gone all the way through and are out of the exhaust. The only thing that could stop them really is the thermostat That could provide a restriction, but if they did get stuck there, the next time you started the engine cold, they'd just go out the exhaust. So they must be out of the exhaust. If they fit through the first pipe, which is the narrowest pipe on the engine, then they must be out of the exhaust. And the engine hasn't overheated at any point. It's just the friction in the water pump for some reason. Like I say, the seacock's working. I'm going to cycle it a few more times. I've put some spray on it so it doesn't get not seized up or anything. There is not much more I can do. I've got 2 spare impellers. I'll put it back together now, check the oil, set off tomorrow. The intermittent fault with the VHF is a strange one. The VHF aerial looks wobbly. I don't think it ever has been before. I checked with my radio earlier, a little handheld, and it's transmitting, and then I did a radio check with the Coast Guard and it's transmitting. So I went to buy an extra aerial. I was going to get an extra aerial and have it in the cockpit just as an emergency. But they're like 80 quid and I don't have 80 quid, so that's the end of that. So yeah, we'll just go. It's less than ideal, but I have the small radio if anybody's near me, and if nobody's near me and it's a true emergency, then I have my PLB. So that's that. I'm going tomorrow morning. Yippity doo dah. This could be the beginning of that video. I don't know, we'll do it all later. Good morning. Here we go again. Oh, I've only got a low battery. Yeah, just took on some fuel here in the marina. I'm just waiting for free flow on the locks now, which are over there, so I can get out. It's a super high tide today, 7.6 meters, super springs. So they literally can't open the locks because the height outside is higher than the height inside. Or something. But yeah, took on fuel, tidying up, get rid of some rubbish. Met 2 very nice people. I'm terrible at asking for names because I always forget them. I think if I didn't ask, then I've got an excuse, which is bad really, isn't it? But yeah, one gentleman has just completed a solo circumnavigation. He did it the proper way and went round the top. And another chap had engine trouble and ended up in here, lost his prop and ended up in here, and his boat's on the hard, he's doing some work. Yeah, very, very nice people. So I think it could be another hour. I've had the engine running, good water, which you'll see now. And yeah, I might just go and transfer some data around then and get it off this card and faff around, and then I'll catch up with you when I'm leaving. Or something. Yeah, okay, proceed, no worries.
Yes, you're out. Well, good. I'm in the morning. I'm at the record. Sometimes I'm in the morning. Yeah, we're ready when you are, whenever the light is available. Is it not free flow now, is it? No, we're not free flow now. No worries. Thank you.
Pardon? Yeah. 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 Alright, I am outbound. The fish docks are way over yonder. This is the River Humber. It's massive, as are all of the ships in it. I've just changed from VTS Humber Channel 12 to Channel 14 at Cleanness. Notified them that I'm outbound to the south, persons on board, etc. Blah de blah. And we're going to aim for Lowestoft. Looking at it, I don't want to jinx it, but I think I might be able to sail it. Let's hope so. And maybe arrive early in the morning. And then when I get there, if I haven't burnt a lot of fuel, if I feel alright, I might just push on to Ramsgate, get the Thames Estuary done in the daylight, and then see how I feel. Probably go into Ramsgate for the night, something like that. I literally have no money for marinas, that's the problem. I'm borrowing it here, left, right and centre. But yeah, that's the plan. I haven't got the sail up yet. Wind's on the beam at the minute. I could just stick the foresail up for a little bit, but you know, I'm doing 6 odd knots with the tide, so just chill out, run the engine, put a few hours on it while I'm relatively close to the shore, and then we'll see how we go. Touching wood all the bloody time. So yeah, that's that. I'll settle in and give you a shout in a bit or something. I don't know. No good at this YouTube malarkey. Hey hoy! Hey hoy! I've thrown the main up for the time being. I'm not going to bother with the headsail until I get outside of all this sort of TSS stuff. I set up the 360, but as you see, it just turned upside down on me, so you're not going to see any of that. Which would have been funny because I was trying to hoist the downward facing cone doodad, the motor sailing Majinga, and as I've undone it, it's just completely wrapped itself around the spreader, and I've unwrapped it halfway and then the wind's just wrapped it around again. I'm like, cheers for that. And then I'm rolling all over the place trying to get the main up. If anybody was watching, I must have nearly gone in the drink 3 times. Then my hat blew off and it was sat just on the tow rail, but I couldn't let go of the halyard because I was hoisting the sail, so I managed to recover it. Yeah, all fun and games, isn't it? So yeah, if the wind stays like this, it'll be on the beam, or well, about 80 degrees apparent wind angle, there or thereabouts, which is half A. Get the headsail up in a little bit, and then see if I can rig the sheet to tiller steering, get the engine off, get the autopilot off and chill out. In theory I think I might just sail straight through the wind farms. I was reading up and there's no there's a 50 metre exclusion zone around each individual pylon, but there's loads of room between them, so I might just go sailing through them. The blades by law have got to be a minimum of 22 metres above mean high water springs, so that's fine. I'm only about, I don't know, 10 metres or something like that, so yeah, we might have a go at that if we get close to one, just for a bit of fun. Go and play with some windmills. It's a bit snotty out here, just short chopped quite often, but it is what it is. It's a bloody North Sea, I'm used to it by now. So yeah, plodding on. I was just looking at Wells. I was thinking maybe I'll go into Wells for the night, but you know what, I think I'll just go to Lowestoft. Yeah, probably. We'll see where we end up. Et voila! We have a headsail. I've just been check the engine. I'm going to start going down every 30 minutes and just put my hand on the water pump just to gauge temperature. So when I changed the impeller, when it had burnt out, the water pump was red hot, and that's what killed the impeller. Now it's absolutely stone cold. It's got condensation on it. In fact, it's freezing, which is what I would expect and what I would hope for. The engine is in neutral at the minute. I'm sort of teetering on the edge of deciding whether I can just sail or not. I may just sort of have just a few RPMs on the engine, because you know, 2.8 knots isn't enough really. Yeah, so unfortunately it won't just be sailing, it'll be motor sailing, but it is what it is, we've got places to be. So yeah, it'll be nice and easy on the engine that way. So yeah, in fact, I'll do it now. Just slightly above tick over to take any tick over wobble out of the engine. Already we're up to 4 knots ish, so that will do fine. Just poodle along now, get there in 20 hours or so, something like that, maybe a bit less once we pick up some speed and get the tide. But yeah, that's the plan, that's what we're doing. See you in a bit. Alright, it's been about an hour or so. The engine, as you can hear, is off. I'm only doing about 4 knots, but I think I'm pushing some tide, so that's okay. And I've also strung myself into the cockpit. So I've got the sheet to tiller steering working. So this comes off the boom, down to this turning block, down across there to that turning block, and to the tiller. And then I've got a piece of elastic on this side, so that if I come too far off the wind, too far off the wind, I get pressure on that sail, which pulls this piece of string, which pulls the tiller that way and rounds me up into the wind again. Counter to that, if I round up into the wind, I lose pressure in the sail when it luffs, and the elastic will pull the tiller back the other way. That's the principle, and to be fair, I'm dead on course. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but if I can do this, even if I'm later than I was planned, I'd rather do this than be motoring all the way. So I'm going to monitor it for a little while, see if everything happens as it should. The thing is, if the wind changes, then I'll need to finagle stuff, but it seems okay so far. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to stick the autopilot out of the way, put these last fenders away, because I was on autopilot. I need to do something about this being on top of that cupboard because it's annoying me. But yeah, now that I'm talking about it, I've come right off course. I've got to play with it a little bit. That's one of the very fast wind cats coming past. I don't know if you saw the seal bobbing his head up as well. Yeah, those dudes fly around at like 28 knots between the wind farms and stuff. Absolute flying machines. Cool as frig. Very cool. Alright, we're back to sailing, the wind's picked up. I did have the full headsail out, and I was sat thinking, oh, maybe that's too much headsail, so I thought, if I'm thinking it, reef it. So I've reefed it now. Not that you can see much. I'm not going out on deck because it's a bit lumpy. But basically I've maintained the same speed and knocked 10 degrees off the heel. So yeah, boat's a lot more settled, everything's a lot calmer, we're all good. Got the autopilot on for the time being. I may well play with the sheet to tiller again in a minute. But yeah, it's going alright so far. Sun will be down in a couple of hours. I think I might anchor off Cromer
I'll get fair tide in a bit, and then the tide turns against me, and it's sort of, it'll be the best part of 3 knots around the headland there, and I can't see a point in wasting the diesel really, so I may well just anchor and wait for the tide to change, give it 6 hours and then get up and go. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know, we'll see what happens. Righto, the sun is going to set in a while. I've decided to go to Cromer, should be there around midnight or so. I will get a few kips before I get there, just in case for some reason I can't anchor, so I'll have some rest. I'm about to stick the kettle on and have a pot noodle for my tea. It's not one of them fancy sailing channels, you know, with actual food and stuff. It's cold tins of soup and the occasional pot noodle. So yeah, I'm going to have a little check around, make sure there's nothing on the horizon, and then go for the old pot noodler. As you can probably tell, the sun has gone down. Just watching this big ship go past. Once that's past, I've got a west cardinal buoy that I need to stay west of. Hello. Then after that it's a straight run, 2 hours or so to Cromer. Hopefully I can anchor off there, and it's not too windy, but what I'll do is I'll go and drop the hook and see how I feel, and worst case scenarios I'll just throw some fuel in while I'm on the hook and just motor on. Yeah, it'll be a head to wind, but you know, head to wind and tide, so hopefully I'll be able to drop the hook and it'll be okay. But yeah, we'll see. Not much more to report. Just watch this buoy go past and then have a little snooze down below, I think, or something such like. Okie dokie, I'm just approaching Cromer, which is over there somewhere. I'm actually going to be anchoring about half a mile offshore, but that's in 6 meters of water. And I'm just going to put out basically near enough everything I've got. It's not going to be a comfortable night because of the swell, I can tell you that already. The wind is forecast to be 0, it's not 0, but hey, we'll see. I'm just going to, there's no point leaving chain and rode in the locker, so I'll put near enough everything out, and even if I just get to fuel the boat up and chill out for a little bit, at least I can push on afterwards. I've scandalised the main already, you can't see it, but basically lifted up the topping lift, so there's no sail shape, so I'm going to bring the boat to a stop, drop the anchor, and then the sail won't be able to drive the boat forwards on the anchor, and then once the anchor's set I'll drop the main, etc, etc. The tide hasn't quite turned yet. I'm here a bit earlier than I thought, so I may have a tide pushing me one way and wind pushing me the other, but we'll see where the boat ends up sitting. I'm about 12 minutes away. This is literally just looks like you're still in the middle of the sea, which technically I am, but hey ho, we'll see what happens. I'll probably speak to you after I've dropped the anchor and stuff like that. Auf Wiedersehen. I messed up there. I set up heading to wind, left the sail up so I could drop the sail, didn't take into account the tide, which is at 2 knots, so which is coming the opposite way to the wind. Dropped the anchor, it nearly snatched out of my hands. Managed to get it down, just put loads out, but then I was stern to the wind, so I had to drop the main downwind, which was fun, especially when it's rolling all over the place and I couldn't stand up. But yeah, you live and learn. The anchor's holding. Yeah, I'm going to try to relax for a little bit. Oh, I want to put some fuel in. I'll check the fuel. I don't think I'll get any sleep. I might do, but we'll see. Anyway, I'll see you in the morning or something. I'm aware you can't see me, but you'll just have to hear me. The anchoring didn't go great. Well, I dropped the anchor. Oh, I've already said this bit, I think, afterwards. it bit immediately and it nearly ripped it out of my hands. And then there was actually you'll not see me. There's an incredible amount of roll, and it just was not good for the boat. So I got the anchor up. It took, I don't know how long it took, but it was absolute agony trying to pull it against the tide. It was supposed to be slack water. It was friggin' horrible. But I got it up, and then now I just have to go all night, really. Not much I can do about it now. So what I've been doing is I've got onto a 20-40 schedule where I'm punching a load of tide as well. I'm down to 1 and a bit knots, but I'm not increasing engine RPM. I'll just deal with it. So what I'm doing is motoring for 40 minutes. There's pots everywhere, so I'm looking out for them with the moonlight. Motoring for 40 minutes, and then laying a hull for 20 minutes and getting some sleep, and then back up and motor for 40 and then lay a hull for 20. It's working all right so far. Obviously I just lose the ground once I'm a hull, but I can't risk leaving the engine running on the autopilot when there's pots around. I just can't do it. So that is where it is. Only a few hours until sunup. All will be well. Have a look at the moon. It's bloody gorgeous out here. A little bit hazy, but beautiful nonetheless. Naturally you can't see anything. But yeah, that's that. Speak to you in a bit or something. Welcome to the morning. It's going to be a beautiful sunrise, and obviously I'm probably one of the most easterly people in the UK at the minute, so I get to see it first. And I'm exhausted and delirious, and I just nearly had a bit of an accident with another yacht actually. A beautiful ketch called SAILBOAT has been overtaking me for quite a while. We're basically fighting against the tide, so we're only doing a couple of knots. But he was coming past me, nice distance away, everything beautiful. And I thought, oh, I better put some fuel in the boat. So my fuel is over that side of the boat. He was passing on that side. So I'm hanging off the boat, putting fuel in. And I hear the autopilot make a weird gronching noise, and I thought, well, that's weird. And this big town here, the next time I looked up, wasn't off the starboard bow, it was behind me. And I thought, who's moved that town? It turns out it didn't move the town. I'd kicked the tiller pilot off the tiller, and the boat was making a slow turn to port. By the time my delirious brain realised what was going on, and I'd got the jerry can back and put it in the boat, turned round, I was maybe 20 metres off T-boning the other boat. So obviously I just turned hard with the tide, which was that way, astern of me in the north going, and did a circle and come back on course. It was too dark to see the person on it. I did see a silhouette standing in the cockpit, probably, I imagine, looking exasperated and wondering what the frigging hell this random boat, who's been stationed off his bow for ages, is now going to T-bone him. Yeah, so he's probably going to Lowestoft, so I'll find him in Lowestoft and explain and say, look, I'm sorry if I gave you a scare. My fat feet kicked the tiller pilot off. Yeah, so I'm going to enjoy the sunrise. I have managed to get a little bit of sleep, not bloody much. There is some wind, but I honestly can't be bothered putting the main up, and it's too close to the wind for the headsail, so screw it. I'm just in for an easy ride in. Don't jinx it, touch wood. Yeah, I'm just going to motor in. I'm about to have my breakfast. This is also my supper, a cold tin of soup. Living the dream. I just realised that I haven't done any YouTubing. I've been very, very tired. I'm struggling now. But yeah, that over there is Great Yarmouth. We are but 1 hour away, there or thereabouts. There or thereabouts. I've spoken to a nice lady called Sue in the office at the yacht club place. They've got space for me, which is handy because that would have been exciting if they didn't. More of Great Yarmouth. We've got a big wheel thing. Yeah, getting there about 11:15. Get tied up. I need something to eat. I haven't really eaten apart from the odd tin of crap. And then go to bed for a couple of hours, get some power, and then I've got to do some editing. I'm way behind on videos. So yeah, exciting times. You can't even see me. Exciting times. Probably better off not being able to see me. I'm a ghost. Yeah. This is as far east as the UK goes. All that's over there is... What's over there? Holland? I don't do geography. Right, I'll probably see you alongside or something. This is crap. Why is the swell always on the beam? Always. Oh, it's just took me ages getting the fenders out. I nearly gone off the boat 4 times. But anyway, there's some cardinal markers over there. I'll go around them, get in the dock. I've took the autopilot off and I can't get to my 360 camera, so you're not going to see it. I'm not stopping the boat again. I need to get in now. Fucked. Yeah, so I'll see you alongside. Radio, we're in Lowestoft. It's actually the next day. I wish I put the camera on. This is Lowestoft Marina. It's called the Royal Norfolk and Suffolk Yacht Club. Coming through this little entrance here, I've noticed there's a load of swell. The boat's all over the place and the pontoons are all over the place, but that is where it is. I parked the boat like a boss and I didn't have the camera coming on. I was knackered. I sort of came in here, spun the boat on the spot there, came in at 90 degrees and then spun the boat again and just came in sideways to the pontoon like that in between boats. It was glorious. Is it Mark or Martin? I'm terrible with names. Said like, oh, you looked alright, did that well. I'm like, oh, thank you. But yeah, good little town. It's got a Taco Bell, which I tried for the first time. That was good. Yeah, just shame about the swell in the marina, which is weird because it's really well protected. Right, yeah, so that was that. A couple of mistakes with the anchoring and other stuff, but that bit's over now. I've spent 2 nights here. Well, tonight will be my second night. I'm getting in the boat because people walked past and now I'm scared. Oh God, I am aching all over. Feel like I've been hit by a train. These North Sea swells, man, they're terrible. Right, yeah, so heading out in the morning to anchor in a river, which will be new. And yeah, so I suppose that's it for this week. It was a difficult journey, that. Always in the back of my mind as well, the engine, having had problems with it and stuff like that. So yeah, I could never really relax as such. But yeah, she's alright. We got here. Now we've got to get somewhere else.
and then somewhere else, and somewhere else, and somewhere else, and then I'll be in the Solent, and then 2 more somewhere else's, and then I'll be home. So yeah, getting there slowly but surely. Yeah, so today is Monday. There's a big blow coming through Thursday. Friday's not too great either. Saturday looks okay. Sunday evening is bad. I'm thinking maybe go to Walton Channel tomorrow, Ramsgate Tuesday, no, Wednesday, sit out Thursday, Friday in Ramsgate, and then do Ramsgate to Eastbourne or Ramsgate to Haslar. This is all stuff you'll find out in a few weeks, where I am and what I'm up to. I'm still tired now, so yeah. Goodbye for the week or something. Pow! I think that fin thing on the end.